Gauteng Education appointed or has appointed an independent law firm. This is to investigate the death of Sibusiso Mbatha, a grade 6 pupil at Khehlekile Primary School in Ekurhuleni. The law firm has been given 5 days to come up with a report detailing the circumstances around Mbatha's death, the 12-year-old taking his own life following alleged bullying by his teacher at the school. Well, joining us now is the Gauteng Education spokesperson, Steve Mabona, to give us the context of why this direction. Mr. Mabona, thank you very much for your time. Let's understand the reasoning behind this law firm being appointed to investigate the circumstances that led to Sibusiso taking his own life.
Good morning, Koli, and to all our viewers. Look, for us, we wanted to conduct an internal investigation on the face of it after receiving allegations. But when we received more information on what might have transpired, we then decided through the MEC, of course, that we need to have an independent body that will then assist to investigate, interact with everyone that might have been involved from the school perspective, talking learners, class teacher, move to the HOD, the SMT, the principal, including SGB, and then also drip into the family, because we had to then interact with the family because there was a lot of information that came from them as well, including allegations. So we felt that let's have an independent body that will then be assisting us to probe this matter and come up with recommendations which will then probably, pave a way forward for us.
Yeah. I guess the reason we asked this question, Mr. Mabona, has to do with whether or not police are going to play any role, perhaps, on the outcomes of the investigations, because we listened to those lawyers very carefully yesterday, and they were very clear. They are going to deal with what is factual to them and then come up with recommendations. Are the South African Police Service going to play any role pre or post this investigation?
Remember, the police have a responsibility to investigate, cases which are brought to their attention. And in this instance, if something unnatural like this happens, they will normally conduct an investigation, which sometimes they, will probably investigate an inquest, but maybe they will be in a better place to indicate on what is it that they're doing on this case. Because I know that, all cases where our learners committed suicide, police will then investigate. As for what is it that they will be focusing on, then they should be better placed to do so. But from where we are sitting, we will be looking at whether there's any transgression of public service code, looking at our employees that are involved, look at the transgression of the code of conduct, looking at making sure that the learners that allegedly they were involved in this as well. You look at that, and also look at how the community is treated. The LGBTQIA+ in our space. You will know that we are finalizing policy directive, from the Department of Basic Education, because they are the policy drivers. There are documents which they are finalizing, so that all provinces will be guided on how the community must be treated, on how we need to be, managing around it, because no one must be discriminated against, irrespective of anything. As per the Constitution, must be respected. So if there's an element of them feeling that they are alienated, that discriminated, the policy directive will then be assisting all provinces to say, in the event of this, this is how we manage it. Because in some schools, and in Gauteng, we've already started actually communicating a lot with our schools, our stakeholders on the community itself, to a certain extent where we receive complaints in some schools. For an example, with utilization of, bathrooms or toilets. we had to reach compromises there and there, make sure that learners don't feel alienated, they are accommodated. So those are the things that we are looking at. And the society must also assist. I mean, parents, we need to be in a position to guide and make sure that we support everyone that is in our environment. No one must feel discriminated in our space.
Yeah. As we wrap up the conversation, Mr. Mabona, I'd like for us to perhaps do what is called an anticipation of the possible outcome. So, number one, our reporter was at the family home, and one of the family members did say that the teacher in question, or should we call them the alleged perpetrator who may have said unsavory words, went to the family to confess that, yes, they may have said this, and of course they don't know whether the child would have taken it so badly that they would want to do such a thing. But interestingly now, you also bring into the equation other children, fellow learners, who may have said some ugly words, perhaps, to Sibusiso. What kind of remedial action should we anticipate toward the perpetrator, but also importantly, the children that may have been involved?
No, it will be irresponsible for us to anticipate. Meanwhile, we gave the firm an opportunity to investigate. And I mean, the timeline, it's reasonable for us to wait. I mean, remember, like as you say, we gave them 5 days. If there's an extension thereof, they will indicate, but they insisted that they will be in a position to finalize. So let's give them an opportunity to interact with all, I can say, stakeholders or everyone that would have been involved, because you might have heard that they also called upon, members of the public who might have information regarding any information that they know to bring forward that information so that they can then do a thorough job. So I think let's give them an opportunity to finalize this process, and then we will be guided with what they put, and recommendations on everyone that would have been significant in circumstances which led to the death of our land.
Final question to you, sir. Given that this is such a public matter, the lawyers were presented publicly in full view of news reporters as well. Will the outcomes of the investigations be communicated publicly?
The intention for us to appoint independent body was that we want to allay fears, because we might have heard that there was a doubt of some sort to say we are not sure whether that investigation will yield any positive results. So yes, indeed, MEC has indicated that the very same way we introduced them, we will be in a position to publicize that report. And we'll share the report with the family, after finalization thereof.
Steve Mabona speaks for the Gauteng Education Department. Thank you very much for your time, sir.